Well, okay. Welcome to all you familiar faces. It's great to have you here, and some of you came from a long way away that we really appreciate, but we appreciate you all. Some of you who have known Bill, the nieces and nephews since day one, some from elementary and high school in Pleasantville, New York, some from his meandering college days, which brought him to Montana for the first time, and then some in Seattle where he worked for Citibank and was head of restaurant, and some of you from his log cabin building days where we barely made a living in Sandpoint, Idaho, and then others when we finally got a professional life together. We moved to Juneau, Alaska. For 25 years, we adventured, and he was a therapist. And the rest of you have known Bill for the last 18 years, since we moved to Bozeman. And you might have joined him on a trail, or a river, or a ski slope. But if you were really lucky, you got invited into his garage workshop, where, after he died, unbeknownst to me, of course, we found a bottle of whiskey and 2 glasses. And I always wondered what he was doing in that damn garage for so long. But wherever you found him, you found a very kind, gentle, loving, and very witty soul. So I was always, in his last days, his, difficult body, he would come out with one-liners, and we could not believe it. So I'll just share 3 of them with you. One was his hospice nurse, who was a male, was building a house, and he'd come in and Bill was interested, like, what'd you do this weekend? What'd you get up? And so he said, well, I got the studs up, I got the joists up, I got the roof off, whatever. Bill didn't say anything. Then pretty soon he said, well, I'm the only stud in this house. And another time, when, people could have thought it was difficult, but I often said there's more joy in this house than any other house in Bozeman because of Bill. People would come in the morning to change him and get him up, and there would be so much laughter. It was all because of him, because he was cracking jokes all the time. But one time, we were talking around breakfast with everybody there, and I just happened to say, well, Bill, you were always more sensitive than I was in doing therapy, so maybe it was harder for you. And he didn't say anything. And then about an hour later, the hospice nurse comes in, and she says, hey, Bill, how are you? And he says, oh, more feminine than masculine. Who would have thought? And the last one was, we liked to sit out on the porch before dinner, whenever the weather was good, and have a drink and just talk. I mean, as long as he could talk, we could talk. And we watched people go by. And I think Piper Jones Scout were out there, and an older couple came by to look at our book library, on the lawn. And Bill, out of the blue, of course, said, the porn's in the back. I said, Bill, where does this come from? It was a special kind of brain that he could come up with that stuff. I mean, nothing was premeditated, and usually it was kind of funny, really funny, and right on. Anyway, we're here to celebrate his life that was, and his shining spirit, which is and will always be. Thank you.